You've come to fight as 3 men. And 3 men you are. What will you do without freedom?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Godly Potential YouTube channel with another video, with a follow-up video. This is going to be a follow-up video to the previous video I made about my pre-ayahuasca trip or ceremony, thoughts and feelings. Now, I know I'll probably get the comments, but this is not a blunt, this is a cigar. This is going to be nub cafe macchiato flavored. It's fucking delicious. But yeah, also a disclaimer, as you can see I'm outside, so it seems like every time I do a video outside, that's when people want to be doing construction. They want to be building goddamn bridges and dams across the street, or every car with the loudest dumbass truck want to drive through. So if you hear any of that, please forgive me. Hopefully it's not too distracting, but let's talk about this trip, this ceremony, this experience. So just a little recap. I went to Orlando, Florida to try ayahuasca. Now the place I went to was this facility called Soulquest. It's based in Orlando, Florida, like I just said, and pretty much the official title is Soulquest Native American Church of Mother Ayahuasca. I think that's the name of it. But pretty much what it is a church where they serve the religious sacrament, and this sacrament is ayahuasca. Now, ayahuasca is typically illegal in the U.S., but under religious guidelines, you can take this sacrament. This is if it's part of the religion that you belong to or in. And so yeah, I went down to Orlando last week, tried ayahuasca for 2 different ceremonies. They offer 3, and I'll talk about why that is. I only did 2. And yeah, this is a week ago. Today is Friday. I went down there. I got down there Thursday. Ceremony began Friday. So let's dive right into it. So me and my buddy who lives in Florida, he drove down there with me. I pretty much convinced him to go. I mean, it wasn't hard to convince him. I pretty much just told him the benefits you can get. Initially, he was like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna go look into it. And then some called his spirit to go. And that's gonna pretty much, that's the first thing I want to say as well. This isn't for everybody. Pretty much you need to be called towards this if you want to do it. If not, you might not be ready for it. Because this is no joke. Because if you haven't seen the first video, what ayahuasca is, it is a medicine that produces DMT. I want to say it's the most powerful substance of DMT that you can take, pretty much. So it's no joke. But this is not just for tripping. It's not like mushrooms or psilocybin, whatever it's called, or whatever you want to do. So keep that in mind. But yeah, so I introduced it to him. I told him about it. He felt called towards it, and it was the right time for both of us. So we decided to do it. So everything started at 6, and we got there around 5 something because we were driving from Orlando. No disregard, we were driving from St. Petersburg to Orlando, and there's a lot more traffic than we anticipated. A lot of toll fees that we didn't anticipate, and so we get there pretty late. When we get there, walk in, it's almost 6. We talked to the guy Chris, who's the name. He's the name of the co-founder or founder of this place, and he checks us in. And as he's checking us in, his phone lights up, and I see that it says 5:55. Now immediately, it lets me know that okay, this is the time we're supposed to get here. It's the right time, right moment, because as you can tell by this channel, I'm a pretty spiritual person, or this is your first time watching one of my videos, I am a spiritual person. I'm spiritually in tune. And oftentimes my angels or my guides or the spirits that I'm working with or the universe normally communicates to me in numbers, synchronicities and patterns. So 1111, 222, 333, whatever. So we get there, sign in, it's 5:55. I'm like, all right, bet. Perfect time to get here. So we walk in. He gives us a slight tour, but the shit's finna start. So we walk into, they call it a Mordecai, I think it's called. It's pretty much a big, it's like a real fancy pyramid or hut with a dome over it, and it's pretty big. You could seat probably a couple hundred people in there. But if we go in there, everybody's sitting around in chairs, and they're all facing towards this group of people. Now this group of people, we're gonna have 2 shamans there. There was the founder and the co-founder, as well as some facilitators there. They introduce themselves, they give a spiel. There's a male shaman and a lady shaman. The lady shaman, she pretty much took us through disregard. It was a facilitator there. She took us to a meditation, and we did the meditation. And yeah, everybody just introduced themselves. Then after that, after they introduced themselves, we all introduced ourselves. So they handed around a mic, and each person would pretty much state why they're there, what they're looking to get out of it, and where they're from. So we all go around. I just tell them I'm from Arkansas. My intention is to learn more about who I am and what I am, and that was it. Pass it, and it finishes. Now, after this happened, they let us know that we're going to be drinking a tea to help us purge or to vomit, to pretty much cleanse us out as much as possible beforehand. So they get this detox tea and they bless it, and we all stand up and walk over there and grab a tea, and we all knock it back. Some people had 2 cups of this, some people just had 1. Now this is just a regular detox tea. It does nothing to you but cleanses your system. But we drink the tea and they pass around a leaf because now it's time for us to purge it. They want us to induce a purge, induce vomit, pretty much, so we can cleanse anything that's pretty much, I guess, on top of our stomach. Now, before we left from St. Petersburg, me and my buddy, we pretty much just had just a little meal. We had vegan burgers and rice and beans. I mean, it was pretty clean. And before that, we didn't eat. But the week leading up, they have this diet that they recommend us following, and we both pretty much follow to a T. It's pretty much a vegan diet or a vegetarian diet. And we follow that. So when it's time for us to drink this tea and purge, I drank it right away. I was thirsty. Tried to purge, nothing. Had another cup, just a little bit came out. Same thing with my buddy, but as soon as it happened though, it's like we all shared the experience. Everybody there, we all just pretty much just puking into this bucket, trying to get rid of anything. And that in and of itself is an experience. But moving on. So after that happened, we go through a cleaning ritual. We all get cleansed and whatnot because we're gonna drink this medicine tonight. So around 8 or 9, that's when we drink the medicine. We all find a place inside this building. We all have a little mattress, a pillow, some towels, and we all pick a spot, and the shamans start blessing the medicine, and then we begin getting up and going to get our serving. Now, I've been told that this medicine is disgusting, that it is awful, that it tastes like, it is just so terrible, it's extremely bitter. So I had that in mind, and I expect the worst. Now others, I don't think they really researched it or looked up what it tastes like. And I can tell because after we got our cup, we had to wait and let the shaman pretty much cleanse us before we ingest it. Now, mind you, also, the first night is the introductory night, pretty much. Everybody new pretty much starts with a serving that is going to assess their tolerance of it. So, anyway, the shaman comes around and starts cleansing people. And I can see to my left people who got cleansed before me and they could drink it. As soon as one chick, she drinks it and she almost upchucked it right away, and the look on her face, she's like, ugh, it's disgusting. So I'm expecting the absolute worst. So I'm holding my cup. I kind of get a whiff of it. I'm like, okay, it smells funky. It smells like, I don't know, to me it smells like dates. And so, or prunes. And the shaman comes through and she cleanses me, so I drink it. And it tastes just like it smells. It smells like, or it tastes like, to me, dates. If you ever had dates, that's what it tastes like. But I didn't mind it. And I drank it, I rinsed it out with a little water and finished the rest in the cup and lay back. So the show can begin. Pretty much after that, I'm laying there, hour go past, nothing, 2 hours go past, still nothing. I'm like, all right, well, this introductory dose, nothing's gonna happen, I guess. So they ring a bell and they say, whoever wants another one, sit forward. So I sit forward, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting another one, it's gonna happen now. But then the shaman goes, or he had a translator rather, it was like, Pedro wants to give everybody rapé before he gets another shot. Now rapé, what this is, it's kind of like a flute with like two ends on it. And like they pack tobacco in the middle. One end it goes up your nose, the other end for them to use. They pretty much blow it up your nostril. And I got the rapé. Now, from my understanding, rapé is used to take you out of a loop if you're in one, if you experience a loop. It takes you out of it and puts you in your body. But I didn't question it, so it's my turn coming on with the rapé. I stand up. He says, breathe in, hold it, and then he blows it. And man, I could not fucking breathe. I'm just, and they're saying breathe, but nothing comes out, and I'm leaning forward, my hands on my knees, and I don't know what's gonna fucking happen, but my body is just panicking. So anyway, I finally catch my breath, and it was like, do the next nostril. So I breathed in, hold it, couldn't even hold it, and I spit. I was coughing it up, breathe it in, hold it, and they blew it in the other nostril. Same effect, couldn't even breathe. And they told me to sit down, go to my knees, and just breathe. And that was painful, and it took me a minute to finally catch my breath and start breathing. But when it did, I laid back, and my whole body was just vibrating. And that pretty much, it fucked with me. And because I was dealing with that for a good 30, 40 minutes, feel like it. It was to the point where they actually came around with the second cup of ayahuasca, and I was still just trying to control my breathing and laying back feeling the vibrations that I missed the second round. And I thought that they just didn't come around with it, but the next day I found out that they did, but I just missed it. So anyway, when I had the rapé in me, after a while, it finally wore off and I ended up falling asleep. And pretty much I kind of woke up, closed my eyes, and I seen little colors and shapes, but nothing too serious. Really nothing to document. So that was my first night. Really nothing happened. The rapé just kicked my ass. I got the introduction to rapé and the taste of ayahuasca. So I'm just like, next day we wake up, everybody like, how was it? How am I? It's pretty uneventful. Nothing really happened. Everybody else telling me their profound experiences already. I'm like, oh man, this is dope. I'm ready. So there's 3 ceremonies offered. You got the first one on Friday, and then you got 2 Saturday. Saturday during the daytime and Saturday night. So the Saturday daytime one comes, it's outside. I find a spot outside in the shade. I get there kind of early because I'm just waiting for this to happen. Now, mind you, we haven't eaten yet. We're doing all this fasted. We don't eat until 4:30 Saturday in the afternoon. So I'm doing this fasted. I'm like, oh man, it's gonna hit me. It's gonna fucking hit me hard. So anyway, everybody set up. They blessed the medicine again as well. And it was like, whoever wants to, raise your hand. I raised my hand. I'm getting 2 servings this time. 2 tablespoons to start. So I'm going to fill it. Now during the day ceremony, they don't offer another round of it after 2 hours. It's just one and done. So I take my 2, I put my attention to it, and I drink it, knock it back, and I lay back. I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna start. Now that spot I had in the shade, there's no longer in the shade. Now the sun has shifted, and I'm pretty much going through a shitty time. So I'm laying back, the sun's in my eyes, I'm sweaty, I'm hot, I'm bothered, and nothing's kicking in. An hour passed, nothing. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? 2 hours go past, nothing. I'm like, yo, what in the fuck? So when the facilitators walked past, I was like, look, man, I'm not feeling nothing. It was like, well, man, we still got to be over here for another hour and a half. This is after I was sitting there, I want to say 3 hours. It was like, what I can do is give you raw pay. And I was like, fuck. And I just looked off. He was like, yo, did you do it last night? I'm like, yeah. He was like, all right, it's not going to be as bad. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. So give me the raw pay, and instead of just blowing it all in there, he kind of into both nostrils. So it wasn't as bad. It still sucked. I still got the tingling, the vibrations out there, but it was not as intense. But after that, I was like, okay, because as soon as he shot it, as soon as he blew it, I seen a vision, like just a flash of geometric shapes and colors. So I'm like, okay, this is gonna do it. So I'm sitting there pretty much on all fours because this rapé is in me, because I'm getting ready to purge, I'm thinking. But I never purge. I just pretty much spit up the mucus or whatever. And I lay back, but I'm feeling the music now. I'm just vibing to the music. Eventually that stops. And now I'm back to where I was, square fucking one. Nothing, just looking up at the sky, looking at birds and shit, blah, blah. The sun is in my face, I'm hot, I'm sweaty. This shit sucks. And I'm just like, man, this shit doesn't fucking work for me. Now I'm looking around, I see people dancing, people crying next to me, people sobbing, people just like, just going through it. So I'm like, well, it works, just not for me. So I asked one of the volunteers, I'm like, man, when can I go eat? He started laughing. He was like, hey, man, I think 4:30. Man, I think it's 4. I'm like, all right, bet. So at this point, I just can't wait to eat. So 4:30 come, they ring a bong or a gong or whatever, or bell. I'm like, all right, I'm time to go. Pick up my pillow, grab my water, my towel, and I'm like, I'm out. So when I'm walking back to go get food, I feel kind of shitty. I'm like, I ain't got no food in me. I'm dehydrated. Haven't been drinking that much water. The water was hot that I had. And I'm just like, man, I just need to eat. So I sit there and start eating. And I'm scarfing it down. And I'm fucking getting stuffed quick. And a guy comes, sits next to me, and we start talking. He tell me about his experiences. I'm like, that's dope. You know, this chick comes, she sit down, and she tells us about her experience. I'm like, that's dope. And I'm just like, fuck. Maybe I'll have my experience tonight. And it almost like, I was kind of like getting jealous. I'm just like, fuck, man, this shit works for everybody but me. I'm like, shit. So, anyway, I'm like, fuck it, it'll happen tonight. Because in my mind, I'm like, no, I seen 5:55 when I first got here, so I'm supposed to be here. It'll happen tonight, just trust it. And as I'm eating, I just begin to feel terrible. I was like, man, I ate that too fast and I drank too much water. Because I immediately chugged like 2 or 3 glasses of water. And I'm like, man, I feel shitty. So I get up and go to the bathroom thinking I'm gonna throw up. And I'm just sitting in there. I'm just like, fuck, dude. I feel terrible. I'm like, I shouldn't have ate that food so fast. But I want to throw up, but I don't want to induce it myself. So I'm like, if it comes up, it comes up. So I sat in the bathroom for a minute. I sat down. And I was looking at the wall, and it looked weird. I'm like, man, I'm just dehydrated, and my body has no energy. That's why I'm seeing this. So I go back. They're still over there talking. I sit back down, try to jump back in the conversation. And the more and more they talk, I'm just like, it's just fucking with my head. I'm just like, dude, I don't feel good. So I get up and go to the bathroom again. And this time, it's like, boom, it just fucking hit me. I'm just like, oh, dude, that's the medicine I feel. And I'm going to just sit here and ride it out. And another part of me was like, no, go back to the ceremony. So I beeline it back to the ceremony. just walking as fast as I can, getting there. It's still going on. There's a few people in there. My buddy that I drove there with was still in there going through it. And I told the guy in there, the shaman, the facilitator, I'm like, look, man, I just ate and I think it's kicking me. He was like, damn. And just a big ass smile on his face appeared. Like, that's never happened, but all right, let's get you a spot. I got a spot. And as he was smiling, though, it's like his face began like to morph. And I was like, oh man, this shit's kicking. So I sat down. And I was like, man. He brought me a pillow and a blanket to lay on. And then I'm like, all right, let's go. Close my eyes and poof. Just seeing reds and yellows and oranges just all in my face. And it's just like throbbing, going to the beat of the music, because they had music playing. I pretty much set the tone. And yeah, music and geometric, like shapes and patterns. I'm like, oh man, I'm in it. Hell yeah. And then like my ego kicked in. It was like, dude, how long is this gonna last? Like it just kicked in, and it's already been a few hours. You're gonna be the last one over here. Like, I don't like this. And then my heart started to race, and I started getting like scared and nervous. I'm like, dude, I don't want to fucking do this. But I'm just telling myself, like, yo, relax. It was kind of like I was talking to myself, like back and forth. Like my higher self was talking to my ego, and or my lower self. And so finally, I calmed down. I'm just laying there. I'm like, yo, just go with it. So then I started seeing like faces and stuff that just like going through. And then it was almost like the faces and stuff were riding on like a roller coaster, like a fair. That's kind of the vibe I got. And this is happening. I'm like, okay, this is cool. And I'm just feeling good. I'm like, okay, this is cool. But I didn't come here to see this. I'm like, I came here to get some stuff figured out. And my intention this time was pretty much to show me the internal blocks that hold me back, or the internal things that hold me back. And then a voice came through. It was clearly the medicine, or they call it Mother Ayahuasca. It's like a female spirit in it. And I do believe that. And so she came through. And she would like smile. I started smiling. She was like bigger, bigger, bigger. And I just felt my face just stretching. And it felt like I had the biggest fucking McDonald's cheeseburger smile on my face. Because I was just smiling so much. She was like, okay, good. And so after that, still just seeing stuff, just going through it. And then she goes, the only problem you have is you care too much what other people think. And it was just so simple. I never like thought about that. I'm like, you're right. And then like I started getting like flashbacks of stuff in life. I'm just like, yo, I never thought about that. She was like, well, I'm gonna help you with that. And basically she had me just say in my head, like, I don't care anymore. Like, I don't care what anybody think about me. And she made me say it a few times until it was like certain, like that I even believed it. And so I did that a few times until I believed it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care what nobody thinks anymore. She was like, good. And then she pretty much, I got the image or the feeling that she just took my ego, that lower self, that voice, that doubting voice, and just took it and like threw it away into the abyss, into the all, into the nothingness. And I was gone. And another intention I had was pretty much showing my life purpose and path. It was kind of a bullshit intention. I figured out because she was like, you already know your path. You're on the right track. Just keep doing what you're doing. This is the only thing that has been hindering you, but no longer. And so she was like, and that's all you need. I was like, okay. And then I asked her, I was like, why did it take so long for the medicine to hit? She was like, I wanted you to have your own experience as well as your body didn't let it happen. Because this is like, I always thought that this body's not a fucking temple, it's my slave, It does whatever the fuck I tell it to do. I tattoo it up, I mark it, I ink it, whatever, I scar it. This is my slave. She was like, this is the vehicle you're in, yes, but you're going to be with it until you transition on, so you better take care of it. Just like a car. The reason the medicine didn't hit because your body didn't send the DMT to the receptors that take it in because it refused to, because it was so hungry. So that 24-hour fast that I was on by this time was not, it was hindering me. It wasn't beneficial to me at this point. So when I ate some, then it kicked in because the body was like, okay, now we can work. Because, and also she was pretty much like, if I wouldn't, if the medicine would have kicked in and me being that hungry, and I'm 215 pounds, so I might have blacked out if the medicine would have hit. It would have been overbearing because my body didn't have enough energy to pretty much handle that. So that's why it happened. And she pretty much told me that, yeah, take care of the body just like you would a car. And also she said, because I was also under the notion, or it was one of my beliefs, that we are animals pretty much. We are animals, we have these animal bodies, but we also have a piece of divine within us. And that's is the disconnect, because we have the source or God in us, and we also have an animal. So it's like constant battle between primal instincts like sex, food, survival, and peace, love, and happiness, fulfillment. So I had that notion. Then she tells me, she was like, that's not true. She was like, this is, you're not an animal. She was like, an animal isn't an animal if it doesn't have that piece of consciousness in it. She says, if you take that consciousness out of the animal, otherwise it's dead, that's not an animal anymore. It is just a vessel. I'm like, okay, that fucking makes sense. And she was like, and with that lower consciousness it has in there, this animal is just acting out its desires, because its desire is only to procreate and survive. Just like with us humans, we have a higher consciousness within this vessel. It's not of an animal. It's of the divine. You are the divine being. You're not an animal at all, because you can always fight against those urges you have to replicate or to have sex and lust. So she's like, you're not an animal. So I thought that was profound. But after that, I didn't have any more questions, or she knew that I needed any more. She was like, but yeah, that is all you need. I was like, okay. And she was like, okay, I love you. Pretty much, bye. And like I said, it was like they were riding on roller coasters, almost like as if I was at like a fair or a circus, and it pretty much closed down. It's like everything started stopping. The actual music that they were playing at the place stopped a little bit before this, and it's like everything started to shut down. And I was just standing there, laying there with my eyes closed, and I just felt amazing. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. And then as I'm thinking, this guy walked past. He was like, man, I just feel like the weight of the world off my shoulders. I just want to spread the love. And then Mother Ayahuasca came back, a voice in my head. She was like, you have too. You've been carrying a big weight on your shoulders, but no more. And then after that, the visions pretty much faded away, and this lasted about 30, 40 minutes. And so I open my eyes, I'm looking around, and everything's just so beautiful. I see dudes going through it, I'm like, that's my brother. I see chicks going through it, I'm like, that's my sister. I'm just like, yo, this is fucking dope. But then I couldn't stop smiling, because I'm just like, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, I really don't. It's one thing to say it, a lot of people say it, but it's another thing to actually believe it, to actually have that as an experience. Like, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about me. And so I'm just thinking, like, I don't give a fuck. If I sit up, it's pretty much, because at this point the medicine's pretty much, it's done its work. So like, all right, well, it's time for me to go, because I'm looking for my buddy, because I didn't know he was still over there. He was over there for 10 hours straight, and my trip only lasts about 30, 40 minutes. So I didn't know he was still over there. So I was like, all right, let me get up and go find him and pretty much tell him about my experience. And so I ended up eventually getting pretty much grounded enough where I can walk. And I walked all I was looking for him. I didn't find him. So I ended up walking to this bench where there was a pond in front of it with a bunch of lily pads. And I just sat there and I looked at it because I've always been drawn to the water. And maybe because of my astrological sign, I'm Scorpio, ascendant sign Scorpio, and moon sign is Cancer. So all water. So I'm drawn to the water. So I sit over there and I'm just looking at the water. I'm just like, dude, I don't give a fuck anymore. And I'm on fucking cloud nine. I experienced bliss. Now I've been told you can experience bliss too through meditation, deep meditation. Use certain techniques and certain states where you can experience oneness and bliss. I felt that, and it's almost unbearable for the human to even process, but it is amazing. So I'm sitting there just looking out there and just thinking about all the times that I gave a fuck or I shouldn't have gave a fuck. I'm just like, yo, that's been holding me back from a lot of stuff. So I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, dude, I don't give a fuck. And the voice like, say it loud. I'm like, yo, I don't give a fuck. It was like louder. I was like, I don't give a fuck. And I said that about 4 or 5 times. And I was like, yeah. And it was analogous to, it felt like I put on like an Iron Man suit. It's just like, I just felt like I put on I became a superhero. And then I started looking at like all the people who I follow on social media. A lot of them, it's like I follow these cats or I like these cats because they don't give a fuck. And I never just put 2 and 2 together. That is what I've been craving, and now I have that. As well as also, what she told me, I was like, should I do the night ceremony? And she was like, no, not unless you want to see shapes and colors, but you got what you came here for. I was like, fair enough. And I felt good about it. In fact, because before I ate, I was like, tonight I'm taking 3 tablespoons. But after that experience, even the thought of drinking ayahuasca or the smell of it almost made me like want to vomit because it was so bad. And also, yeah, to go back, before I got up and left and found that bench to look at the pond or whatever, I kept getting the inkling, the purge to throw up, but I didn't want to induce it, even though I kept getting the image to induce it. I was like, no, I'm not. I'm just going to sit there. Because I've noticed, like, after meditation and stuff, when I go walking, I do a lot of self-reflecting, and that helps me process a lot of stuff. And so that's what I did while on the medicine it was still in me. So on the lake, that's when all of those realizations and thoughts pretty much appeared or came up. And man, so like I said, it's been a week since, and I can honestly say that I still don't give a fuck. I do a little bit more than I did when I first came out of it, but the moment I come back and remind myself of that moment, like, yo, I don't give a fuck, and that's what's been holding me back. I no longer give a fuck about what others think of me, and that was extremely powerful. Now, just hearing that, it might not even seem that crazy, because it's like, oh, you just don't care what they think. But it's one thing to just say, it's another thing to actually experience it, especially when you didn't have this ability at first. It is profound. Like, I felt amazing because I got that when I was telling people about my experience. It was kind of like lackluster, I guess you can say, or it's just like, it's kind of like, that's it. Because I mean, a lot of people are going through a lot of stuff. A lot of people are dealing with a lot of shit, dealing with PTSD, trauma, what else? Like childhood abuse, drug addictions, past life issues. So I was thinking, like, I'm not dealing with all this stuff. I've been working on myself for the past 6 years straight. So like, I've got rid of my anger issues. I've worked on my relationships with my family. So that's why I got just that little thing I needed. And the moment I got it, the medicine was pretty much done working on me. So this was profound for me. Like, I recommend ayahuasca for everybody. Like, if you've been called to do it, go do it. And also at Soulquest, when I got there, there's a lot of veterans. They're coming up with a thing called Warrior Quest, where veterans, if you can't afford it, they will fly you out there, pay for your plane ticket and everything. You can do it for free because they believe that this is a great cure or a great thing to do if you have PTSD. It's nothing you can get from the VA. It's nothing you can get from the pharmaceutical companies. It's not a pill you can take for this. And also, this is not a fix-it pill, you know? You still got to work on it. Like, if you have anxieties, it won't be as hard, especially the few days after. You're going to be on cloud nine, but as time moves forward, you're going to have the little bit of anxiety. But in these moments, that's when you got to push through and apply the teachings that you got through the readings or whatever. Just push through it, and you'll notice that the anxiety will go away. Now, that was my experience. They had another ceremony that I didn't partake in, but a lot of people got a lot of profound stuff because afterwards, at the end, they went around and did integration where we all shared our experiences, and a lot of people had a lot of profound experience. They did what's called breath work as well, where a lot of people had a lot of profound experiences. But it was amazing. Ultimately, I got that I cared way too much what people thought of me, but I no longer do. And that, to me, was worth that trip down there and the money I spent, as well as helping my brother get healing that he needed by telling him about it and going on there. Also, I made some good connections. And just being in that space around the same, all those people going through the same shit, they're all purging, crying, sobbing, mad, or whatever. It just like it builds some camaraderie that it's more camaraderie than the military is. Like, it's just because as soon as you take the medicine, it's like you're connected because you're all going through the same shit. And it's like, just being there at Soulquest, it was just like being in his own little universe, because when I left a few days later, I'm just like, yo, that was just a safe space to be, because everybody's going through the same thing. We're all just vibing extremely high. The facilitators and volunteers are walking around in all white looking like angels, like no BS, like no bullshit. So it was an amazing experience. I highly recommend it to anybody who's thinking about it. Soulquest in Orlando, it's legit. Give it 2 thumbs up. Ayahuasca is amazing, but it forces you to face your demons and your bullshit. So if you're thinking about doing it, I would say do it. And also, a tip when you're doing it, just let go. You know, don't have up any borders, any barriers. Just let the medicine do its thing. And if it shows you something, it's gentle. It will show you if you're not ready. It will take it away. It will show you. It will help you deal with that when you're ready. Unless it's the last ceremony, then it's like, no, we gotta get this done now. But yeah, that's my experience. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Tell me what you think in the comments. If you're thinking about doing it, leave a comment. If you've done it, I'll be happy to hear about your experience and integration afterwards. But yeah, that's my experience. Until next time, peace.
You've come to fight as 3 men. And 3 men you are.